Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to Sunday School Online with me, Pastor Steve. Today, we're going to continue looking at the happiest place on earth and the lessons that we can learn from Jesus, as this church and as our lives with Jesus truly are the happiest places on earth. But today, as we continue to use my experience and my love of Walt Disney World, we're going to be talking about probably my favorite ride in the Magic Kingdom. And it's this one right up here. It's called Space Mountain. You can see it from a long distance away. As you can see, it's really a lot bigger than Cinderella's castle right over there. But as you go up to Space Mountain, it has a long line, and usually it takes a long time to get on the ride, and the ride doesn't last very long. But it is one of my favorites. I got to ride it when I went there in high school in 1977. It was only 2 years old at the time. It opened in 1975. It was the first ever indoor dark roller coaster. So the first roller coaster indoors and the first roller coaster ever completely in the dark. That's right, it's completely in the dark. There are some flashing lights. There are some space type sounds, or you get to experience what it's like to blast off and to fly through outer space. There are a lot of people that are scared of Space Mountain. They don't like dark, for one, and riding a roller coaster in the dark can be a bit scary because you don't know exactly when you're going to go around a curve or go up a hill or down a drop, and it makes the ride seem really fast. But the unusual thing is, Space Mountain is only a roller coaster that only goes 30 miles an hour. Very slow compared to many other roller coasters that are out there. One of the unique things about Space Mountain is the fact that when you ride the ride, part of it, you're actually outside what they call the perimeter of the track, the perimeter of the park. You're outside the railroad tracks. And there are only 3 rides as of right now, where when you're on them, you end up outside the railroad tracks. Space Mountain being one of them, Splash Mountain being one of them, and Pirates of the Caribbean being the third one. Now they're going to be opening up a new roller coaster called Tron, and it's outside the perimeter of the railroad tracks also. But it's got a couple more years probably before it opens. I can't wait to ride that one. But Space Mountain is one of those, like I said, it scares some people. But here's the good news. The Bible tells us that Jesus is a lamp unto our feet, lights up the path before us, shows us the way, that all things are possible through God. That when we're in those scary moments, those times when it seems dark and scary and we don't know what's going to happen, we know that God will get us through it, that God will be with us even when we're scared. So the next time that you're in the dark, the next time that you're scared, the next time you might be experiencing something that causes you to be a little frightful, remember that God walks with you. God has a light that shines, if not externally outside of you, it lights up inside you so that you know that with Jesus, you are safe. So the next time you get an opportunity, if you get an opportunity to go to Disney World and you're riding Space Mountain, remember that. For one, see how dark it is, because it is sometimes not as dark as others. Ann and I have been on it when we could see a lot of the tracks. Sometimes they actually turn on all the lights, and you ride it in the work lights, and it's really unusual then, because there's actually 2 roller coasters that run side by side throughout the whole thing, and they're almost identical, except one of them is 10 foot longer than the other one, because it has to go around it to come up to the loading dock. So keep that in mind and think to yourself, which one did you get on? The short one or the long one? So today, as we go into our coloring time, we're going to be coloring Mickey Mouse, Goofy, and Pluto. as they ride Space Mountain, decked out in the full astronaut space gear. So get your colors together, get ready, and we'll get started coloring. As we get started, one of the things as I was looking at my images of Mickey is I realized that Mickey's face is usually drawn in a really light brown beige color instead of just leaving it white. So I did Mickey's face in brown this time and used that as the same color as Goofy's nose. Then went in with what little black there is on this, which is basically the tips of their nose, the center of their eyes, and of course Goofy and Pluto's face, ears, and Mickey's, what little bit of his ears face shows. The windshields, and Pluto's yellow, by the way, just to let you know, he's a yellow, I guess, Labrador, for lack of a better thing. But when we got to painting their astronaut outfits, I decided that the face shields would all be shades of blue. So that part is exactly the same on all three of them. You can do whatever you want to. That's totally up to you. I want you to make them the way that you want to see them. Now, when it came to filling out their astronaut uniforms, I went to using basically their normal colors that they have. So for Mickey, he's usually in red with those big bright yellow buttons on his shorts. So I did him in all red and yellow, which kind of made him look very Iron Man-like. Pluto, as I decided, he wears a bright green hat, and a lot of times he has like an orange vest and so forth. So I did him in green and orange, and as I got done, he started to look an awful lot like Buzz Lightyear. So there we have two space-type people that are kind of depicted in our cartoon. But Pluto, I decided, Pluto doesn't wear clothes, he's a dog, but he does have a blue collar. So I went ahead and made all of Pluto in a couple of different shades of blue that I hadn't used yet, so that he became all blue, which I think makes him look kind of cool. Now, part of the problem with this coloring sheet is that if we were to do this in real, true colors, or the way things are in the real life, most of this would be white. But as you know me, I like pink. So I put them in a pink spaceship. I picked out 3 different colors of pink that I have in my markers and laid them out, trying to get it so that they were all separated by another color. And I came pretty close, but couldn't quite do it all the way. So they're in their pink space capsule. And the only part that I changed is the bar that Mickey is holding onto. I did do that in silver. Now, Space Mountain is really all white, but that would be kind of boring and I'd be done. So I chose to do it in a whole bunch of shades of gray. I've got blue gray, green gray, light gray, warm gray, cool gray. So I could find different shades of this, shades of gray to do Space Mountain in, to make it a little bit mountainy, but at the same time, still looking like a space. Now I did leave the spires that are on top that stick up. I left those white to be a part of the original Space Mountain look. I then decided I was going to outline the whole thing in black so that it looks like space. And I did it in a way that instead of filling in the whole page, because that would have been a lot of black ink, I decided I would cut it out somewhat in the shape of a mountain. So I filled it out so that it is pointy on top and wide at the bottom. And thus it gets a little bit of that Space Mountain look to it, so that when I cut it out, and then I put it on the door with all of the other ones that I've done. Now I used an X-Acto knife. You can use a pair of scissors, or you can just color in the whole sky, whichever way you want to do it. So here it is, hanging on the door with the rest of our designs. So as you get yours done, have your mom or dad take a picture of it, text it to me, email it to me, send it to me some way, and I will put it on our Facebook page in the album of all the other Sunday school activities we've been doing. I can't wait to see what you came up with today. Welcome to Children's Time. I have a special message for you this morning. As you know, we've been talking about the happiest place on earth right here at church, but I've been using images from Disney World as ways to let you know that the things that I love and make me happy at Disney can also be things that make me happy here in Wilton and at our church. So today, I want to share with you my love of popcorn. That's right. At Disney World, they have these popcorn carts everywhere. And I personally love popcorn. No matter where you go in Disney, there is another popcorn. They're painted different, they look a little different, but you can smell the popcorn everywhere. And I love the popcorn because it's one of those things that you can carry around with you and eat. And they always have something special. And one of those is I want to share with you. I bought this the last time we went, a year ago, and it's the Millennium Falcon. And you may say, well, that's nice, Pastor Steve, but what's that got to do with popcorn? Well, it's a popcorn holder. And so you buy one of these, and then you get very cheap refills for as long as you're there. They fill this up with popcorn, and you can go around, and it even comes with a strap on it, so you can put it around your neck and wear it around. This one, because I like Star Wars, is one of the reasons I bought it, but it even lights up so that you can pretend to be the Millennium Falcon, and see there the lights blank. It's just a lot of fun. And they have lots of these popcorn containers for you to eat as you walk around. But part of the reason why there's a connection to our church, many of you know that the senior high youth group was given a popcorn popper from somebody in our church. And we have that there. And I pop popcorn every Sunday night for our 7:00 worship. It's one of the parts of that worship service. Part of the excitement of being there is that you get good free popcorn, because I make really good popcorn. So it allows me to remember that the church is one of my happy places, because it's a place where I can bring those other things that make me happy into it and share it with all of you. So when we get back together and we're doing in-person worship, and if you happen to come at 7:00 at night to one of our more contemporary worship services, there will be popcorn as much as you can eat there on Sunday night. So with that in mind, let us pray. Lord, I thank you and praise you for each of these little ones, and that you may fill their life with fun things like popcorn, love, kindness, justice, mercy, that they may find that not only in special places in this world, but find that right here in our church. So Lord, I thank you for each and every one of them, and I ask that you watch over them this next week as they go to school, as they do their chores, and as they live lives filled with happiness. Amen. So boys and girls, today we are going to be building the popcorn cart. Now I want to apologize that this is a little bit more difficult than I thought it was. The sheets that you can download and print out yourself will look like this, and actually there are 2 of these popcorn carts on one single sheet. This is the top half that I didn't cut out, and these are the pieces for the bottom half. So what you end up with is actually 4 sets of wheels, and what I did is I cut them out in pairs, and you'll see as I glue them together, I just thought it might be an easier way to make them. The rest of these pieces, these are the 2 sides. This is the display area in front. Some of this is the canopy top, I believe, and these are the sides, and these is, I believe, is the handle. We're gonna see what it looks like, and if you wanna try it, send me a picture of what you come up with, even if it didn't come out quite right. So let's get started. So as we get started, I glued the 2 wheels together, and that allowed it to be on the front and back of each of those. If you notice, I did get some new glue, so it does work a whole lot better. And then I just trimmed around it, and this allowed both sides of the wheels to have their design on them, both sides. So then I took the 2 sides, glued them together, and began folding all of the tabs and special spaces together. That way, as tiny as it is, it's easier to use. Now I used a piece of a Q-tip to spread the glue on those tiny little spaces. One of the problems I had is my big fingers. It's hard to see a lot of the stuff that I'm doing. I know I'm doing it really fast, but because of my big fingers, it's hard to see all the details, and it's a really kind of a small little popcorn box. But you can see as you fold and fold and fold and glue those tabs together, it slowly becomes a popcorn box. And I'm using that craft knife there in some places so that my fingers are out of the way so you can see it. So there it is, all folded up with the glue starting to dry, and you have to just kind of hold it. I set it down for a while, and then I did what is a little display box, and I decided I'd try putting glue everywhere. And this little box really is the pretzel box where they sell salted pretzels and they stay warm. Now this is the roof, and I creased it there with my knife, and it's really pretty flat, but it's got a little bit of a peak to it. So you put the sides together like that, and then these triangle pieces fit on the side and then flip in. Like I said, it's pretty flat, but do the best you can. Now this is the hardest piece there was to make. It's the little end piece that is actually like a tray, and it sticks out the end of it. So it's really, really tiny. And I almost didn't even put it on there. And so then it's a matter of putting all the stuff together, figuring out where everything goes, gluing the wheels on, gluing the little tray on there. You see it kind of flops a little bit. Then I put the wheels on. And part of this is I was trying to do it so fast, I wasn't always letting the glue dry. So I had to let it sit and hold it there for a minute. Put some glue on the top. Oh, wheel fell off. There you go. Spread a little extra glue in there, hold it. This is supposed to be the push handle. I could not quite get it bent. It's so tiny to fit in there properly. So I re-glued the roof, stuck it on top. Tried working hard on that handle, but it just didn't really want to go. So there's my finished piece sitting there with Steamboat Willie. Just remember that God loves you, I love you, and to eat a little popcorn. God bless. We'll see you next Sunday.